Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. AB here along with Jack, and we are the Street Catchers. Jack, how you doing, buddy?
I am alive and well. How are you?
Feeling good, feeling great. We are in week 5. No Marvel, no Star Wars, but we do have a stream to catch. So thank you guys for tuning in. We are obviously talking about the Adam Project. Jack, what'd you think of Ryan Reynolds' latest movie, direct to Netflix?
This was a fun movie. It was all right. It was pretty good. Nothing groundbreaking, nothing amazing. If I hadn't been, prepping for the show, I probably just would have watched the one time and probably forgot all about it. But it kind of grew on me. I watched it 3 times. The second, third time, I liked it a little bit better. You know, it was decent. I'm not going to go out of my way to recommend it to everybody. But yeah, I mean, for a new movie, number one on the Netflix list or whatever you're looking for something to watch over the weekend, absolutely, sure, why not?
I
What
agree.
about you? What you think?
I think it's a really good rainy night movie or family
Hmm.
night movie, whatever. It was all right. I think that, yeah, it's a fun movie. I think that there are some definite flaws. I might have had some higher hopes for it.
Hmm.
That's more on me than it. It was directed by Sean Levy, starring Ryan Reynolds. Those two were on Free Guy together, which I think was a much better movie. They'll also
I
work
agree.
together in Deadpool 3. So maybe that can redeem this as well. Those two seem to have some decent chemistry with making movies. This was just okay. I was hoping for something more. I'll get into reasons why I think that we could have had a better movie, because I do think that with maybe more time and better character development, we probably could have had a better film. But this was what it was. It wasn't bad. It was inoffensive. It was just all right.
Hmm. Do you want to do a little kind of spoiler free review, or do you want to dive into it?
Let's dive into it. I think that our little
Okay.
blurbs there were enough for people to know if they want to see it or not. I would recommend it if you're bored, don't have anything else to watch. It's under 2 hours, so it's not a
Hmm.
commitment. But
Yeah,
let's yeah,
it's it's
let's get
a it's a light watch. It's not as in depth as you would think for a time travel story.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let's jump into that. Jack, you are a massive fan of time travel movies.
I am.
How do you feel they did the time travel here?
I think that they covered their tracks pretty good with the memory stuff, as far as not creating new timelines. It's all one timeline, and then if you change time, it kind of molds back to how things were in a way. As far as memories go, they have I forgot what they called it, the fixed time, the time
Fixed
where
time.
you are on the quantum level. Yeah, that was kind of neat. So Ryan Reynolds does not remember everything from when he was a kid. He doesn't remember seeing his older self. Um, it was. I will say that they for a time travel movie, they didn't. Um, I'm trying to figure out where they missed their mark, right? Because the time travel is what I was the most excited and the most let down for in this movie. The acting was great, the story was fine. I don't really have a lot of complaints, but the time travel was a little bit weak. What'd you think of the timey stuff?
I agree. So when we talk about the fixed timeline, I feel like we as a society need to come to an agreement on what time travel is in movies.
Okay.
I think, and I'm an MCU fanboy here. I think
Hmm.
Endgame did it perfectly. You can't just go back in time and it's like Back to the Future and whatever you do in the past corrects it. I feel like there needs to be branches and timelines that if you change anything, it's there's two different timelines now. I feel like that's what it should be, and that was not what they did
Yeah.
here. That's on me. That's not on them. That they told the story how they wanted to tell it. As far as the time travel itself, for me, when I watch a time travel movie, I want to see either someone from a set time forced to go either back in time and deal with the challenges of being in the past with limited technology, et cetera, or
Hmm.
forced to go to the future and be like, oh my God, look at hoverboards and
Hmm.
smartphones and all these things. What is this? To see how people would deal with stuff that isn't in their current timeline. And because this movie is set in modern time, you don't
Hmm.
get any of that at all. Of course, he brings his future technology with him. It's all pretty bland. You know, he's got the lightsaber type sword. He's got some bombs. That's pretty straightforward stuff. A ship, pretty
Kind of basic.
straightforward stuff. I would have liked to see them show us a glimpse of 2050 because
Yes.
they don't they talk about how it's grim and bad and terrible, but they never show us what's so bad about it. And so
Yeah.
because they don't show us what's so bad about it, it's really hard for me to root for them to accomplish their mission of destroying time.
Yeah, I have that in my notes that we really needed to we needed to see the future of 2050 and more than just Ryan Reynolds's ship's cockpit.
Yeah,
You know?
and I think that that was a big problem for me. Another problem is our villain Maya from Saurian, our generic science
Uh-huh.
tech company. Very hollow, bland, generic villain. Just wanted to make money or be in charge of this company.
Yeah.
No real context to her backstory and her relationship with Adam's father. No real reason why that didn't work out. Obviously, he dies, but it felt like by showing more of 2050, you could have seen more of her. We could have had a bit more context
Yes.
with why she's so driven with her mission, and it would have maybe helped us hate her more.
Yeah. Or even if she had had more of a diabolical agenda, like if
Yeah,
we like all she's trying to do is build this empire for herself. You know, it's she's greedy. You know,
yeah,
that's the head of it. And I don't know if that's enough for an evil villain of this magnitude. You know what I mean? They're going back in time to stop time travel from happening, and he knows it's a one-way ticket. It's already super dramatic because of that, but then there's no, you know, the stakes are just there because he says they are. You know, we don't get to see
yes,
anything. So yeah, I agree that
exactly.
that was a little flat, and I also agree that we should have seen Maya and Lewis, Adam's dad. I wish that we would have seen them work together before they were enemies. I wish
Right.
that we could have seen some falling out happen.
This movie suffers from not having more, no pun intended, not having more time to to
Yeah.
develop these characters and these relations. For me, I need the characters. You can have cool scenes and fun action and combat and special effects, but the backbone of a story is the characters and the relationships and the motivation for what our antagonist and protagonist want to do. And that was just the biggest misstep in this movie is it just wasn't there for me.
Yeah, for sure. Well, they put their focus on Adam's relationship with his parents and kind of reconciling as big Adam and kind of, you know, getting through to young Adam that he needs to, you know, figure out how to come to terms with his dad's death and, you know, get along with his mom while she's still around too. And I think that as far as that those plot threads go, they kind of nailed it. Like I felt for him on that front, but that was about it. That was the only time that this movie really shined.
Yeah. I think I would have liked a bit more context as far as why Adam treats his mom like shit. I get it. He's
Okay.
grieving. His dad's dead. That's his
Yeah.
way of dealing with it. He's not, young Adam isn't really that likable.
Hmm.
He has the whole, he's a bit of a loner, doesn't have friends. So that makes him sympathetic and he gets picked on and they're the bullies. But you also understand why he's getting picked. He's getting picked on because he's kind of a jerk
Yeah.
and he's a jerk to his mom. He's a jerk to the guy that she is trying to go on a date with, the mouth mullet guy.
Hmm.
He's not really that likable, I think, as far as as a main character goes. Although I do think that the relationship with young Adam and old Adam worked pretty well. I like
Hmm.
how they are similar motions of eating their food and they'll say the same thing the same way. I think that worked pretty well.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that this kid actor that they had to play young Ryan Reynolds did a pretty good job of
He did.
delivering lines as if he were Ryan Reynolds as a little
He
kid.
did. He did a very good job, and even though they don't look like each other at all, they did
Hmm.
do a good job of the kid did a good job of making it seem like he was younger Ryan Reynolds. So kudos to him for that.
Yeah, agreed, 100%. Did you catch the Easter egg? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think so.
The part where they open up a trunk and get the baseball gloves and a baseball out when they're gonna play catch in the final scene. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
I have
at
no
the
idea what you're
end.
talking about. Just
So
tell
he
me.
opens up he opens up this trunk, and on the trunk of there's a bunch of stickers, and there's a Deadpool and a Hulk sticker.
Oh, that's fun. That's
It's
fun.
pretty clever. Yeah, I know. I noticed that on my second watch.
A lot of Marvel people here. We had Deadpool for Ryan Reynolds,
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo's Hulk, Jennifer Garner's Elektra for our OG
Hmm.
fans, Zoe Saldana playing from Gamora, obviously. A lot of
Hmm.
Marvel folks in this movie.
Yeah, for sure. That was, while that's you brought up Zoe Saldana, that reminds me, I feel like that was another shortcoming of this movie is that there's no that her part in it was so small, so short. She got very, very little screen time. I feel like she was just in like maybe two or three scenes.
Yeah.
And you've got Zoe Saldana, like she is a very good dramatic actor, and I would have liked to see more of her. And I feel like that she was kind of the twist. I guess her being alive was, I guess, the twist of the movie, and it was really, really flat because they already showed a picture of her, and it's Zoe Saldana, and they're not going to hire Zoe Saldana for a picture. You know what I mean? Like she's going to be in the
Right.
movie. I don't know.
I do think that we could have had more context with their relationship because, again, you're
Hmm.
just kind of supposed to believe that they have this great relationship, and which is fine. I would have
Hmm.
liked to see more of her. I don't think that she and Ryan had the best of chemistry. I felt really awkward watching that departing scene when he and younger Adam go off to leave. It felt a
Really?
little awkward for me, a little forced. Yeah, I don't think that they had the best chemistry, which is, they have great chemistry with other actors. I mean, she's great with
Hmm.
Chris Pratt and he's great with everyone else I've really ever seen him with. It just maybe the fact that they didn't have more time together is a big part of that. I don't know. It just came off as over dramatic for me, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't land
I'm
with
trying
me.
to I'm trying to think if it would have added to it or taken away from the movie if they had like a 2050 scene of them falling in love or meeting for the first time, or something. I don't know. I don't know how how they do that.
I will say that their final scene at the very end was much better and much more believable. I don't know
Hmm.
what it was about just the way that was acted out. It came off very acted and not very natural
You're talking about when they part
when they
in
part. Right.
2022. Okay.
Yes, when they part.
Yeah.
And that is another problem that I have here. So, I don't understand why. I know I get the reasoning for it. So let me spit it out here.
Uh-huh.
I don't understand why she can't go in the ship with them. So he
I have the
says,
same problem.
okay, I'm just going to spell it out for the listeners here. They say that your DNA is coded to the ship and only you can fly in the ship. You can't bring someone else with you. All right, fine. I don't know why the ship is that big if that's the case, but okay. But he brings little Adam with him. Now you could say they have the same DNA, so it makes sense that they can fly together. All right, I'm willing to buy that. However, they make a point to say that you can't have parallel contact with yourself in the past or the future. So if that's the case, would there not be safeguards in the ship that you can't bring yourself with you in the ship?
Well,
And
not only that, there's more problem even that, because like what if you get injured on a mission, then you can't fly away after you turn the ship off? Like that's terrible.
it doesn't make sense. And I get it. They
Yeah.
did that so that he would have to take his younger self with him. But why can't you just bring her with you as well? It just doesn't make sense. And like you said, that's a big name actress. Bring her along. She would have added to it, you know?
I agree, man. I don't
There's a
know.
lot of weird shortcomings in this movie.
I agree. I didn't hate it, but
No.
yeah, I don't know if adding to the movie would help, because this does not need to be a movie that's over 2 hours. It's a light movie.
I think 2 hours even, maybe 2 hours, 3 minutes would have been a better runtime because if you could have added stuff to it, I think that this movie would have been better. And I agree. I don't hate this movie. It just has a lot of stuff that I thought was wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
That maybe it was just I had higher hopes or I wanted it to be better than it was. It just was I didn't really feel like the special effects were all that impressive. The story was kind of bland. The villain was generic.
Yeah, as far as the special effects goes, there were high and low points for me. I thought the first time that Little Adam sees the ship and they ride the hover platform up to the ship, I thought that looked pretty good because they were using a lot of really decent lighting tricks. It's a night scene, and that it has that advantage. But then you also have the scene after the particle accelerator blows up and the elevator doors close, and they just look like two flat shiny sheets of metal. Like that was bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like a very incomplete movie, if anything.
Yeah, a little more time in the oven on this one.
I think so. It's straight to Netflix, but that is another thing. We have shows like Stranger Things, shows like Ozark, other movies that have been on there that are Academy Award nominated films, and it's just the expectation with Netflix is you're going to get a good quality film or show especially with a director like Sean Levy and actors like Mark Ruffalo, Ryan Reynolds, Zoe Saldana, Jennifer Garner. You're expecting a higher quality film, and I don't know. It just kind of was what it was. It's not a bad movie. I think that if you haven't watched it, it's worth a watch. I think kids will love it. I think teenagers will like it. It's a movie that I think that I would have really liked if I was 13 or 11.
Exactly.
But it's also if I'm a parent, I can watch it and not feel like I'm watching a kids movie. It's a really good like family film, I think.
Yeah, and I think that would be the selling point with Netflix, right? I think that's a lot of the content that they're pushing is that way. But
sure.
yeah, I think if it was a little more mature, not even rated R, but just a little bit more mature, we would have liked it more. You and I would have liked it more.
Probably, yeah, probably. Although I feel like it's two different movies, but I was really hoping for something similar to Ready Player One, where that's not a mature movie like Daredevil is mature, right? Like it's a Spielberg film that is imaginative and fun, and you're on an adventure, and they kind of keep you guessing, and you don't really know what's going on in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this was very straightforward, very predictable.
Yes.
Nothing special, really.
It was very predictable too.
Yeah,
like every bit of it was very predictable.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe that's just because we're coming off of Death on the Nile and the Batman. Like we're in the mood for a little bit more of an intriguing movie at this point.
Yeah, I would say so. The fact that I've seen the Batman 4 times and I'm accustomed to that style of film. But I don't need every film to be that. I wasn't expecting this to be that. I'm very, very aware that this wasn't going to be like that. But it's just I don't know. It's weird. It was a weird film. I was hoping it would be better. It was what it was.
I'll give it the old 6 out of 10. How about you?
I'd probably go 5.5 out of 10.
Good call.
That's all I got though.
Yeah, same. You wanna tuck this one in, put it to bed?
Let's tuck her in. All right, folks. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. I would recommend you check it out if you had nothing else going on. It's an easy watch, nothing special. But again, thanks for checking us out. For the links to all of our Twitter accounts, our Instagram, YouTube, all that's in the show notes below. If you're on the YouTube, feel free to subscribe, hit the bell for more content. And until next time, folks, keep on keeping on.
We'll catch you later.